If you guys enjoy what I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it's free and easy to do. Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of Final Fantasy XIV. We cover the stories both big and small, the epic and the cute, the silly and the tragic. I hope you all enjoy the ride, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. Out in Gridania, the Warrior of Light is stopped by an investigator from the Adventurers Guild and asked to help on a case the guy's working on. He's investigating the Continental Circus. They're known all around Eorzean as a traveling group of entertainers who show up during All Saints' Wake to celebrate and put on a show for the people. But they're actually void sent in disguise. They haven't done anything serious, which is why they've been allowed to keep doing what they've been doing while the adventurer was fine with just watching them. But for some reason he hasn't seen them, even though the festivities have already started. They may be late because we're celebrating Halloween in January, but maybe not. In their place, a weird guy called the Scarlet Snout has showed up. That's a little odd that the circus vanished and this guy appears, which is why the adventurer is looking into him. And he wouldn't mind a little bit of help from you. Since it was obvious you wouldn't say no, you head around asking people about this Scarlet Snout fellow. Turns out the guy's been going around and inviting people to a holiday feast at his house, but it's only for select people, so no one's supposed to tell anyone about it. But of course, people can't follow instructions or keep secrets, so they all tell you about this little private get-together, which gives you some interesting information to report. Hearing that the guy is trying to gather people at his house makes the investigator even more suspicious. While you were asking around, the investigator discovered that most of the time Scarlet Snout has been seen by the river. He thinks it'll be pretty easy to spot the guy, but since he's been asking around after him for a while, he figures he'll scare him off, so he wants you to do it. He'll be watching you from a distance just in case anything happens, so you agree and head off to the river to see if you can spot the Scarlet Snout. The guy finds you, and you instantly see why he's called Scarlet Snout. He's a clown, which automatically makes him creepy despite the fact that he dresses like that to make people laugh. I don't care what anyone says, clowns have always been creepy. Pennywise fed off of fear, and you know what he turned into? A clown. And his face wasn't as scary as this guy's. His name is Papa Gruff, which doesn't sound any friendlier than his face looks. And just like everyone said he has, Papa Gruff invites you to a feast at his house, and he asks you not to tell anyone about it with the same look in his eye that a mob boss has before he puts a horse head in your bed. When he leaves, you immediately tell the investigator everything he said, but even though the guy is creepy, neither of you really know what he's planning, so you have to play along for a little while. Papa Gruff told you to meet him out in Bent Branch Meadows when you're ready to go, so you head out there to spy on him while your adventurer friend goes to make his report. Then the two of you can meet up to plan what you're gonna do next. You catch sight of Gruff standing under the bridge and rehearsing what he's planning on saying to his guests when his wife and son, who are properly named Mama Gruff and Little Gruff, show up. The kid is super excited to meet all of the people who are supposed to be coming to their house, and apparently Papa Gruff's invited a lot of people. People who are apparently walking to their own doom. His words, not mine. The conversation proves that they plan on killing everyone who comes to the feast and using the fear from their souls to summon their friends for the true feast, called the Night of Devilry. Neither Mama Gruff nor Little Gruff has ever seen it before, but apparently the stories say it's fun. Just not for you. Now that you know the plan, you head back to tell your partner. Fortunately, after hearing his report, the guild sent an expert on all things supernatural to help you out. Hopefully he can figure out how to deal with Papa Gruff's plan. The specialist's name is Mark, and the first thing he needs is for you to get him up to speed on what's happened so far. After your recap, he lets you know that he's heard of the Night of Devilry. During All Saints' Wake, the saints are invited to a banquet in the heavens every night. During that time, the world below is left unprotected, and monsters summoned by the ogre Pumpkinhead get to terrorize the defenseless people. The most dangerous of these monsters is the Doomsday Clown, also known as Papa Gruff. The stories say that anyone who enters his domain is destined to never return. The story creeps out your partner, which motivates him to want to save all of Gruff's victims, but going into his lair without protection means death, so you'll need something to overcome his powers. Mark has just the thing. He's made 2 items based off of artifacts he read about in some ancient books: the Fiendish Lantern and a phial of warding holy water. The lantern emits a light that void scent can't stand, and the holy water protects the holder's soul from being stolen and lets you rescue the souls of others and send them back to their bodies. At least in theory. He hasn't had a chance to test them yet, but if they don't work, you'll simply have your soul stolen and eaten by a clown. But at least he'll give you a pumpkin cookie first. Since there's nothing left to do but try out the items and hope for the best, Mark hands you a link pearl so he can offer you as much help as he can once you're in the clown's domain, and it's off you go. Gruff's servant guides you and the other guests into his domain, and where you would normally be able to just fight your way through pretty easily, the clown's power saps all of your strength. Lucky for you, Mark's weapons stop you from losing your soul and allow you to take down the void scent, so you make your way through the place, saving people and taking down void scent like real Ghostbusters, all the while surviving the very life-threatening games of Little Gruff and the attempts to fatten you up and feed you the void scent by Mama Gruff. Having freed so many souls, Papa Gruff gets upset and summons a lot of void scent to kill you and harvest the souls that he needs to complete the ritual. But you free so many more of them that he's forced to teleport away in a burst of confetti. Back in Gridania, you tell Mark and your partner of your success. You saved the souls of those who had been captured, and your fellow adventurer warned the people not to attend any feasts for their own good. Not surprisingly, some of them didn't listen, so there's still a chance Papa Gruff will get to complete his ritual, because the clown hasn't given up, especially since his wife's not happy that an adventurer with some weird magic trinkets ruined their plans. Since people aren't likely to talk to him about a feast anymore, Papa Gruff found someone to help them with their mission, someone that a mysterious pumpkin-headed fellow is curious about. Clearly, Papa Gruff will be causing more trouble in the future. We just have to wait and see what it is. The spooky time of the year is back, so as usual, the Warrior of Light heads to Gridania to see what events they have set up this time. While she's there, she runs into the investigator from the Adventurers Guild, who she worked with in the incident with Papa Gruff, the evil void-sent clown, and he wants her help again. The traveling troupe called the Continental Circus is definitely going to come to set up their shop in town, like they do every year. And since all of their members are void-sent, what they do is never actually good. But the investigator has a plan to mess up their schemes this year. He wants to hold his own event to take the attention away from the circus so they won't have enough customers to cause problems. Since All Saints' Wake has one of the most important parts of the real world's Halloween event, putting on costumes and scaring people, the investigator thinks a costume party will do the trick. To make things a bit more interesting, he had the Alchemist Guild make a potion that can actually transform people into monsters for a little while. People will definitely get into it once the Warrior of Light transforms and scares them a little bit. Not many people would really pass up the opportunity to make a few people wet themselves, and the Warrior of Light is no exception. Seeing the potion in action gets a lot of people on board, so the Warrior of Light goes to tell the investigator that his idea was a success. He's extremely happy to hear that so many people are eager to join in his game, and it makes him wonder why he hadn't thought of turning into a human last time he wanted to consume souls. The Warrior of Light is a little slow and doesn't realize what's going on, so the inspector turns into a void scent to help her understand that she'd been tricked, and not just by anyone. This void scent is Papa Gruff, the same clown who had tried to gather souls from Gridania at the last All Saints Wake, and once again his wife is there to help him out. His plan's a little bit simpler this time around, and it revolves around his transformation potions. The one that he had you drink wasn't nearly as potent as the one he made for the townspeople. Their transformations will be permanent. When they realize that they can't turn back, Papa Gruff will use their despair to summon his friends and begin the night of devilry. And he knows that it'll work, because the real investigator was already turned into the floating void scent that's been trying to get your attention. The people have already started to gather, so the Gruffs head off to put the rest of their plan into motion. And there really doesn't seem like there's any way for you to save them, but a very strangely dressed woman shows up and offers to help. She looks just as crazy as the clown, but she gives the investigator a potion that turns him back to normal, which makes her earn a little bit more trust, at least from him. The woman says that she has enough of the cure for everyone in town who fell under Papa Gruff's spell, and she gives them to the investigator to distribute while he leaves you to deal with the clown. The woman offers to help with that since the clown will be expecting you. She figures that the best way to beat him is with a taste of his own medicine, so she wants to transform you into someone who can get close to Gruff and convince him to eat one of the woman's special cookies that will make him turn back into his true form. The clown wouldn't have left the area because he definitely wants to see the fruits of his labor, so that narrows down the search area just a little bit. The mystery woman turns you into an exact replica of Papa Gruff's wife, which with a few well-worded phrases convinces him to eat the cookie. As soon as he eats it, he's turned back into an imp. When you reveal yourself, he still thinks this is only a minor setback, but the mystery woman walks up and tells the Voidsent that he's ruining All Saints Wake, which is a serious issue to her since she reveals herself to be the pumpkin-headed Great Gourd herself. She plans on showing him the error of his ways in a very, very painful way, but she promises that you can let the festival continue without worrying about the people, and as a reward for your help with saving her holiday, she lets you celebrate All Saints Wake at her house, something that she hardly ever does. This concludes the story of this year's All Saints Wake. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, ding that notification bell, follow me on Twitter, and if you really want to show your support, you can donate to the channel through the link in the description. Until next time, guys. Later.